Hello and welcome back to a 40k battle report from the Warlord's Tower. So we've got the brand new Astra Militarum book and we're taking on the Space Wolves. We'll get straight into it. So what we've got is on my right flank, we've got a Wyvern, and then we've got a Valkyrie, multiple rocket pods, squad of 10 guys in there with a Commissar, and they've got a melter gun. Now there's 3 unpainted tanks in this, all of which represent Hellhounds. I didn't have any fast attack choices and I wanted to take a battalion, so so those 3 represent Hellhounds. So it's a bit confusing. I think it's a Basilisk, a 3D printed tank, and as you can see, the Man Rust. They're all Hellhounds in this, and all with Inferno cannons. And next to that is again a 3D printed model, and that is representing the Stormlord. Inside there are 2 heavy weapon teams, one with 3 las cannons, one with 3 autocannons, 2 squads with plasma guns, a command squad with 4 plasma guns, and a priest with a plasma gun, and a officer of the fleet. Behind that is a unit of 10 guys. They've got a melter gun as well. All squads have boxcasters, and there's a Psyker, a company commander, and that's all. And then next to that is, as I say, the 3D printed tank representing the Hellhound, a unit of 10 guys, another company commander. Those 10 have a melter gun, and that's all. Another Hellhound, as you can see, and a Valkyrie with a las cannon and 2 Hellstrike missiles. And then behind that is another Wyvern. So this is basically an army transferred straight across with the addition of Stormlord. I wanted to try it for a while with 40 models in, lots of heavy weapons, lots of plasma guns. Now with the orders, I think you can do orders into units that can shoot even if they're in a vehicle. That seems reasonable to me. There doesn't seem anything in the rules that stops that. And so yeah, the Stormlord doesn't have sponsons with heavy flamers and mass cannons, although it can have up to 4 of those guys with the twin heavy flamers. So actually in the future, I think that might be an addition onto this bad boy. So yeah, and then as I say, I'm playing the Space Wolves. What we have on his left, the guys in the middle are not deployed, so he have a Wolf Lord. He's coming on outflanking, a Wolf Lord with a jump pack. Ajax, whichever, the special character with his Thunderhammer to fling around, and then a unit of, I think, Grey Hunters with jetpacks, and they've got plasma pistols. Then actually deployed, we have 3 Thunderwolf Cav, and then inside the terrain we've got Long Fangs, that's las cannons with 1 missile launcher. Unit 4 Thunderwolf Cav, everyone who can have a Storm Shield has a Storm Shield basically. Behind that, that's it, is a unit of Wolfen with 2 Storm Shields, 2 axes, 2 Thunder Hammers. Then in the terrain, the building next to that, there is again Long Fangs, las cannons, and a missile launcher, 3 and 1. Grey Hunters with plasma guns and bolt guns in the building, in the crater, similar setup, and that's about it. In the center of the table, which may give away the nature of the game, is the Relic. Basically playing a new book, and to my mind quite a complicated book with orders, stratagems, a psyker, and regimental doctrines. There's quite a lot to get used to in the Astra Militarum book, and those kind of things interact in an interesting way. So yeah, keep looking out on the channel, subscribe, hit that button which will let you know, because I'm going to try and do a Astra Militarum tactics, not go through the whole book, but just look at some hopefully competitive makeups that you can make. I've got the Forge World book as well, so it'll be a few of those things added in there. So on to turn 1. So I won turn 1. Even though I'd had a ton of units to deploy, plonking down a transport with like 5 units inside it kind of means you win +1. So we got heavily into the shooting, and it's a very effective army for shooting. And basically, the Inferno cannons did really well. They've got 16-inch range, so move up 10. They can shoot from turn 1. Blasted away, took out a heap of the long-range firepower, both in terms of the last cannons, the Grey Hunters, and the units inside the tank obviously did that well. I knew that he was going to pile forward with these close combat threats, and I knew they were a big threat to the big tank, but I know I can do that combat and still shoot. Obviously he's going to run forward and try and get the little relic, so even with that, I just wanted to get rid of his long-range threat, especially obviously his last cannons, and that was really achieved. I think I took out all but one of his heavy weapons and quite a lot of his plasma guns as well. So turn 1, he drops down with Ajax. He's, from bad experiences with flyers in the past, he's pretty scared of my flyer. Obviously, me having taken out a lot of his shooting, he's doubly concerned. And so, yeah, he drops down to fling his hammer at the one gunship, starts shooting into the other, charges across the table into the Inferno cannon, takes a wound from the stun and shoot. They're obviously great at stunning shooting, and into the other Hellhound as well. He drops his Wolflord, comes on the side, and they pile onto a ton of wounds onto the. Well, that actually was quite surprising. So in the combat phase, the Thunderwolves charged into the Hellhounds. They took some wounds from the stun and shoot. Pretty effective stun and shoot. I haven't got a heavy flame on the bottom, which I think would be a much better idea. In the future, I'd put heavy bolters onto them, and yeah, that would be a really nasty stun and shoot. So they didn't do a great deal of wounds. The Unit 4 had already lost a model, so they took another wound for each of them, and yeah, they piled on 8 wounds onto one and 2 wounds onto the other. So the Wolflord came on and took 4 wounds in the psychic phase. He failed his charge turn 1, obviously could only throw at a 9, and yeah, so the psychic phase, smite, and the maelstrom power, which is just really powerful, the 6 power. If you can keep rolling and avoid their 5-ups, it's basically a power which on a 2-up does a mortal wound, then on a 3-up does a mortal wound, on a 4-up does a mortal wound, unless they can mitigate it in some way. And although he's got to feel no pain, he just kept banging his feel no pain. So yeah, really good power. On a 7, but still, it's average, better than average to cast, so great power. Next movement phase, I swoop my multiple gun pod ship across the table. The other one goes into hover mode, basically just to keep away from his jetpack troops, which will fly up and smash the hell out of them pretty quickly. His Wolfen pushed forward slower than either was expected, just because his run moves were really low, I think 1 each time. I backed out of combat with the Hellhounds. Very easy decision that to make. They're obviously terrible at fighting, and allows me to pile in a ton of shooting, and then when he charges me again, get my stun and shoot. So effectively I get to shoot again, just takes the heavy bolter out of effectiveness, so yeah, pretty good. This time I can stun forward. I've taken the Cadian Doctrine, so all my guys have stood still, so I'm re-rolling 1s, which is great, especially with veterans. The squad over on my right, I shoot really well with a Wyvern. The Stratagem, which allows you, I think it's Aerial Spotter, allows you to reroll to hit. So you've got 46 shots, rerolling to hit and to wound. So you're hitting on 4s and wounding on 4s. It's really effective. Not all of those wounds were done by that. There was also the Inferno cannon, but yeah, pretty effective. Ton more shooting goes into the Thunderwolf cab and finishes those guys off, mainly from the guys inside the tank and the tank itself. Yeah, some unlucky rolls with the Storm Shield save, but all in all, probably not that unlucky to decimate the unit in a turn. The Wolflord takes another couple of wounds from shooting. Again, a great stratagem in the Astra Militarum book is grenades, which allows the entire unit or 10 men to throw grenades rather than the usual one. So managed to push forward and get 6 guys in range. So that's frag grenades going in. 6d6. So they're hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, but still, there's just so many shots going. The guy's got a 2-up save, but it was great. Really smashed into him, and it's got 1 wound left now. Makes Glenn pretty nervous, but he makes his charge, and the Thunderwolf Cav come over to threaten the big tank. He's understandably wanting to wreck that. Jetpack guys come over as far as they could. Again, looking like they're going to threaten the Inferno Cannon, but obviously hoping to get rid of that. I think it's only 2 wounds left, and allow it to charge into the big tank. And very quickly they smash the small tank. He unfortunately didn't have a lot of shooting left over. It did almost wipe out all his plasma guns into the smaller tank. But cleared the path, good play. It didn't blow up, so no mortal wounds. That is actually, it may look like one jetpack unit, but it's actually a Lord and the last remaining guy from a unit. The Wolfen come charging in. Again, the Thunderwolf Cav charge into the Hellhound. I think he's pretty confident just the amount of attacks and the amount of high damage output from the Wolfen that he's going to do it in a turn. I just think he's got too much to chew off there with 26 wounds, but I think he's been greedy going after both tanks. But we will see. So when the Wolflord charged in with his jetpack on, I used one of my many command points so that I could fight first. So the Wolfen went, did a lot of damage. I think I had not many wounds left, and the Wolflord was going to probably finish me off with his Power Claw. So I interrupted the thing. I'd used the stratagem, so on a 2+ I could hit, and strength 9, I wounded on 2+, and actually with the attacks remaining on the great big beastie of a tank, I managed to pop the Wolflord. So it was pretty funny. He didn't get to attack, which made a huge difference to the game. Actually, it meant that these guys didn't pile out of the tank quite so early. So Ix charges in, takes a wound, I think, from the stand and shoot. Again, awesome from the Hellhound. Really impressed with those guys. While I was writing the list, I was kind of disappointed that I had nothing I could represent Sentinels with, but actually I really like the Hellhounds. I'll certainly be keeping one in my list. I might try some of the variants with the Melter Gun and or the Chem Cannon, but yeah, really good, really good. Yeah, so pretty one-sided fight from the Wolflord versus the Guardsman coming up. But that said, it was actually quite funny. We did all this fighting, and at the end of the fight phase, we were like, oh yeah, Glenn was like, oh, you need to take a morale test on my Astra Militarum guys. They took 4 wounds, 5 wounds, something like that. And I was like, oh, actually, we didn't fight with them. And they chipped the 1 wound off the Wolflord and killed him. So yeah, pretty funny. They then consolidate up, because I presume we're going to get to shoot-ups. Big tank gets to back out of combat and still shoot, so I'm pretty happy about that. We did have a discussion as to whether the guys inside would be able to shoot, but we decided they couldn't. Whether I could have disembarked and shot, I could have disembarked and shot, but I moved with them still in it, so it is what it is. Still not overly disappointed with the situation. Had a reasonably poor shooting phase, a lot of Storm Shield saves made, but I managed to take out 1 Thunder Cav and another Wolfen. I know from experience that as soon as there's no shields in the Wolfen unit, they fall apart really quickly. They're not squishy by any extent, but you can just pile shots into the Wolfen and they do evaporate pretty quickly. Anything high AP, high damage, gets through them really fast. But they charge again into the tank. Again, another great stratagem. There's defensive gunfire from the Astra Militarum book, and that allows you to hit on 5s, which doesn't sound that big a deal, but this thing's got 32 shots without sponsons. With sponsons, that'd be even better. And I'm definitely thinking that some heavy flamer sponsons are going to come its way. It does rack up the wounds, which is really good. And against tough opponents like Space Wolves, it does a lot of wounds. So against weaker opponents, it certainly should start bashing them about pretty quickly. Ajax smashes through the Hellhound, looking at some pretty nervous guardsmen, and he multi-charged the Thunderwolf into the unit and into the Stormlord, and his buddy took enough wounds to kill it, and that was mainly due to, as I say, the gunfire from the defensive gunfire stratagem. All my guys piled out. The Wolfen did the wounds on its own. All the guys piled out. After the game, we actually talked, and I shouldn't have put the guys in the footprint of the tank. They should be all around. They could have all fitted, and obviously autocannons and lascannons got enough range that it wouldn't have been a problem. So I don't feel I cheated Glenn, but it was just a mistake that I just took the model off and put the guys bailing out. But had 21 models in the tank. Only rolled one, took off one guardsman, which is really jammy. Kind of rubbing salt in the wounds because Glenn's feeling quite up against it at this point. He's got not too many models left, and there's still a ton of gunfire left out there. Yeah, so gunfire comes in, wipes out Thunderwolf, wipes out another couple of Wolfen. Ajax charges in, wipes out most of the unit. I stand in the way with my one remaining guy. Unit jumps out of the Vendetta, runs across the battlefield. They ran in their shooting phase. Stands next to the icon, the relic, which Glenn quite cheekily just had a wolf, lone cyber wolf, sat in the bunker, and it just crept out at the last minute to possibly snatch a relic and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat for Glenn. But he's now looking in shabby shape with a lot of gunfire looking at him. The Vendettas open up, the Guardsmen open up and take out the wolf. The guys close in on my board edge take out the last of the Wolfen. The Wyvern on my right took out some of the guys in the building. Ajax moved forward, swung his hammer into my character, popped 3 wounds off him, and at that point we decided the game was over. I've got 2 infantry units next to the relic. Even if he runs over, he's not going to make it, and then he's sticking not too many Space Wolves in the way of a lot of last cannon, auto cannon, plasma gun, melter gun fire, and even with the 2 planes flying around, it's pretty unlikely that those guys are going to survive, let alone make it to the relics. So yeah, it was a good game. It was really interesting how the stratagems, just playing them at key times, just made quite a bit of difference. The amount of times that you'd have re-rolls because of a stratagem, say with the Wyvern and the aerial spotter, and it would make a big difference. The being able to hit on 2s with the charging Stormlord was massive. Suddenly you're hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. It's such a big swing. So although having those new stratagems doesn't seem like that big a shift, and it doesn't seem like that big a change in the Astra Militarum book relative to Imperial Guard 2 book, it's actually quite a big shift. It makes them really competitive. I really like the list. There's lots of ways you can get synergy within the list. I can see it being one of those books where you could have 6 different styles of play within one Imperial Guard army, and the potential for having a heavy support list with lots and lots of Death Strike missiles and the like, just absolutely annihilating opponents. If you're playing opponents where they're relying on a lot of characters, there's a Mordian order, which if you've got a Mordian army, you can put down rapid fire into any character on the board. So got enough plasma guns, even enough las guns, you're going to start chipping off wounds off those characters early, make people pretty nervous. So that could be really good, especially with Take Aim. Is one of the other orders which can make you reroll ones, although I'm not sure you can stack those, so that would be a problem actually. The super heavy vehicles, there's a huge range in those guys, with ones for taking out Titanic vehicles through to ones for taking out infantry, and the biggest winner of the whole book seems to be the Man Russes, which can shoot twice. I was looking at it, and I think you can get one to whiz 26 inches over the board on average rolls by advancing and then doing an order on it to make it move again. And if it's in certain detachments, it can be objective secured. So potentially whiz across the table, objective secure something which was previously safe in the opponent's deployment zone. So there's such a range of things you can do with this army book. This codex, it's phenomenal. So yeah, I hope you guys can pick it up and enjoy it, ask questions, and I'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye from the Warlock's Tower.